Welcome, gentlemen, to another episode of LEGTV Week 6. I'm your host, John David Bright. Boy, we have some saucy topics to discuss today. A very heated debate about Corona and IR, which we will get to. First, let's get an update on the league here as things start to shake out, as we're almost halfway through the season. Let's run through the scoreboards last week. Big win there for Party Like a Gronk Star, who was undeserving of this win, but takes out Worms their money, 158 to 136. Look at the points put up by First Down Syndrome, taking out New World O'Creaky. I was wrong. Jason won. Good performance from him, thanks to Allen Robinson. We'll get to that as well. Here's a huge victory. Dak Street Boys put down a almost 60-point beatdown for the Clock Gobblers. Sons of Shane Falco not looking so hot. I also picked them to win. McCready won. He said, suck these after he won. 164 to 104. 2020 gets a win. Finally, Joe beats opposite of Adam Gaze, and Lamb of Godwin in a very low-scoring game barely ekes out a win over Jables Medelavirus, moving him into 12th place. 134 to 120. So, let's discuss the topic at hand. First of all, big news. Le'Veon Bell is got cut from the Jets. Now he's a Chief. So what that means for us in our league is that now Plow has Le'Veon Bell, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes. When's their bye week again, and who is he playing? I would check that right away. Also, coronavirus update. The Colts had multiple people tested positive for coronavirus, so they're shutting down the complex. No word yet of if the game is going to be pushed back or not, or who tested positive. Just taking the information as we get it. Coronavirus still, for what it is still a thorn in the side of the NFL and fantasy football, specifically the IR slot, which we are going to discuss right now. As David McCready went on an online tirade about the IR slot, accusing me of manipulation and corruption due to me utilizing the IR spot that every single team in this league was given, whether it was COVID or not. COVID just added the IR slot, not because of just people with COVID, because there is no designated COVID IR slot. IR is IR. If you want to stash somebody for 3 weeks, that's what IR is for. I didn't want it. COVID forced my hand. So I am bringing on Mr. David McCready to air his grievances, and I reached out to him live in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. All right, by demand, I'm being joined live in Fort Walton Beach by a very disgruntled and very upset member, Mr. David McCready. That's Mr. David McCready, and he's got a lot to say. Mr. McCready, thank you for coming on and taking time from your hard day.
Anytime I feel like the people have been wronged, I feel it's my opportunity to join in and really try and set the record straight. So this is
a man of the people. That's exactly what I think of when I think of you. All right. Well, let's cut right to the chase and not sugarcoat it, Mr. McCready. You're not very happy with the current IR situation in the league, which was created against my will. I did not want an IR spot. I don't like the IR spot. I like free agency. However, Mr. Dahlgren, concerned about COVID, wanted an IR spot for COVID. However, as stated several times, there is not a designated IR spot just for COVID. And you are upset that I use said IR designation for Christian McCaffrey. Mr. McCready, let's play a little devil's advocate. What would you do in the situation? I want to hear, how would you handle this?
Well, I think it's only right that if you're a man of integrity and a person who's leading a group of gentlemen, that in such a situation or scenario in which you might have the opportunity to slant the rules a little bit in your favor, that you might think twice and just kind of throw it out there for everybody. It's just convenient timing as to when the IR was voted upon versus when McCaffrey was put on the IR.
I had no control over when Christian McCaffrey was put on IR, Mr. McCready.
That is true, but you do have control over when the IR spot was introduced to the league. I think it's a travesty. I think it's underhanded, and I think that if we could just get you to release some of these emails of you and your counterparts just planning these things behind our backs, that this league might be able to take a step forward as a form of progress. But until then, people like me have to come along and set you straight. So.
First of all, it's hard to talk about integrity while you wear that hat. Second of all, it's also well known that it was voted upon for an IR slot. Everyone knew it was coming. Everyone wanted it to happen. And as soon as the vote passed, it was implemented and that IR spot was available. Now, yes, COVID was the reason that people wanted an IR spot, but it was not the cause, or it was the cause of it, not the reason. We didn't have a spot to stash players, and IR was the only way to do that. I was not going to create extra bench spots because then I'd have to keep track of every single team and make sure that they're not abusing that. I just don't have that amount of time. And plus, I think it's incredibly insane. So instead, I went with an IR slot, and everyone has the same spot, and they can do whatever they want with it to stash a player, whether they're COVID or hurt. That is why there's not
men of integrity or men of no integrity. We're talking about some polling stations and voter manipulation. The poll that you put up for the IR slot, I think, was posted for 3 minutes, and you had just over half the league voting. Seems a little quick to me, but alas, here we are. You've made it clear that you have no remorse for your abuse of power.
No remorse.
And so here we are. I don't know why I expected anything less. As I had mentioned, I think most people in the league are probably just used to this type of manipulation and have just kind of moved on with it. So I get it now, and I'm really starting to feel like I'm finally becoming one with the league.
So explain to me, how did I benefit from this IR spot, Mr. McCready? I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Explain to me exactly how my team benefited from having Christian McCaffrey on IR.
This is very simple. It's not that you benefited from him being on IR. You benefited the opportunities that come with him being on IR. For example, you are allowed to pick up more players and hold more, exactly one more player than anyone else in this instance, and you may drop them at your leisure. However, as you already know, when Christian McCaffrey becomes available again, you must drop a player to add him back to the active roster if you're carrying too many players. How is that not an advantage?
You're telling me that stashing J.K. Dobbins, hoping that he actually does something, benefited me one iota. Because let me tell you something, 100% truth, that is the only thing that I did with the IR spot. I kept J.K. Dobbins. As soon as Christian McCaffrey's available, he is gone. And then I have a rotating spot again with the next sucky guy that I have on my roster.
I would invite the league to check the transaction log, as I have, to see how many ads were made this week by Party Like a Gronk Star, and then we will have this conversation again. Because
my transactions, I had a soul for a soul.
Come on, man.
I traded players for players.
Commissioner in the history of America.
You are the worst male representative in the history of America. Look at your hair in that hat. My God, it looks like I'm talking to some old lady on the beach.
I don't understand the issue here.
You have a man bun.
This is where the world is now.
Yes.
So I don't know what you want me to do.
Mr. McCready, a man of integrity. So moving forward, Mr. McCready, what do you want to come out of this?
I think it's only fair that Christian McCaffrey is dropped and immediately added to the Andy Snatch Founders.
Sounds fair to me. That sounds...
Make right what is wrong. And we will see how J.K. Dobbins pans out this week.
Lots of integrity there from a millennial. Complain until I get what I want. That sounds about right.
I represent the eldest of the millennials, and I accept the burden that comes with it.
Look at this Karen on the beach. Nice nipples, by the way.
What are you talking about? Nice nipples. I don't even have the best nipples in the league.
Who owns the best nipples?
The best nipples in the league are easily Alan Nesson's, because those are the only other nipples I think I've seen in the league. And that's only because everyone's forced to see Alan's nipples.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, I appreciate you coming on here, Mr. McCready, and discussing this matter.
I can't see anything.
Just because you have it reversed, you're looking at the beach, you moron.
I can't find the reverse button again. It's disappeared. Come on. This dang oh, here we go.
Look at that guy. Who's that guy?
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Tell that guy to get out of your shot.
Anyway.
So, moving forward, should the IR slot stay?
I think the IR slot stays for COVID-designated players.
But there is no COVID IR designation. That's my whole point, and it's always been my point.
There is, and I've provided the evidence.
How?
I mean, I don't have the technology to bring up the Facebook conversation that's already been had about this, but it's there.
First of all, there isn't. Second of all, in order for that to happen, it'd have to be the honor system, and I'm not going to hold a bunch of adults to an honor system. I'm going to give them an IR slot, and they're going to be able to use it for COVID. They're going to be able to use it for whatever if they need to stash a player for 3 weeks.
I think you underestimate the honesty of Nick Barton and the likes of which that are in this league.
Have you seen this league?
I mean, what lacking of integrity do you see in this league? Besides a man's surf-style hat, which was got at the nice beach store just down the way.
Well, between your hat and Dahlgren's unknown sexuality and Jason Servos watching Cuties on Netflix more than anybody's allowed to, Alan Nesson's a registered offender. I mean, I could go down the list here.
But I feel like the league took strides ahead when James Yarnell was, as far as integrity goes, in the league, as well as Daniel Nichol supplying his voluntary resignation. Yeah.
Daniel Nichol, he resigned on his own accord and had nothing to do with me. He simply wanted to move on, but boy, does he miss it, as he said on the show, and he'll be back if we expand the league to 14 teams. Would you play in a league with 14 teams?
It's not that I can't play in a league with 14 teams. It's that I can't play in another league with Daniel Nichol.
Fair enough. All right, McCready, I'm going to ask you a couple questions here as I go back to the commissioner's think tank and really look over the data that you've given to me, covered in hops and bong resin. Who's your biggest surprise out of the league this year? Who do you think's going to win it?
I think Abi's going to win it. I just don't see why not. Like his drafting, his in-season moves have just been more superior than most people in this league. Age continues to come back with the good stuff. I don't understand it. As much as I wish ill upon his health, he continues to thrive. And I'll be down here drinking to his demise today. So the biggest surprise goes to Abel Atredi.
So who do you play this week? I honestly don't know.
Who do I play this week? Are you kidding me?
You disappeared. Where'd you go?
Hold on. I got to end this call. People are trying to call me on the beach. Don't they know what's going on here?
Yeah, okay, you're in a very important interview on a very important web series.
I don't think they understand what's going on here. You're joking, though, right? You know that we play each other.
Yes, I know. We play each other this week.
Yes. Yeah, it's so convenient that we have this debacle right now as we meet this week. I can't believe believe it's come to this, but here we are. So I'm playing the Party Like a Gronk Stars.
5-0. Party Like a Gronk Star.
5-0. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it happens, but sometimes the cards just fall in your favor when it comes to these types of things. Isn't that not correct, Simish?
Well, first, the easiest thing to do is show up to the draft on time when you say you're going to be there. That's really just the bare minimum. Bare minimum.
I'm not even going to broach this subject because I actually did.
Man of integrity.
I did actually look at how the draft went, and I'm slightly baffled as to. I don't know if these were your personal rankings of the highest rated running backs at the time, but it is what it is. You're right. I'm paying the price of not being at the draft, and
but you did show up. You did show up.
But as a man of integrity, I did show up.
You did show up, unlike Dave Plow, who lacks, amongst many things, integrity, including any.
Wasn't there not a few other people missing?
Yes, same with Nick Shook. He also lacks many things, including integrity, for not being there.
I've been meaning to ask. Nick Shook is in the league still, and it's reminiscent to me. I wonder if he is even trying at sometimes. But when I finally come to grips with that, he actually is. He reminds me of the friend that you had, like when you were in elementary school, who always got Nintendo and Atari before everybody else. And you kind of just kept him around because it was your means to play those things. And, I see Nick Shook's team as a representative in the league to have wins. So,
Fair assessment. Fair assessment. All right, last thing. Who do you think wins our matchup this week?
Oh, I think I'm done this week, unfortunately.
Now, I don't have Russell Wilson this week. He's on bye.
Russell Wilson's going to hurt you a lot, but, I think your secondary drafting skills were so bad that there's no chance that your second team could beat your first team. So it just puts me in a tough spot to root for either team in this one.
All right, yeah, I think I'm going to win easily, too. But yes, I'm glad you did come on and take time out of your vacation. There was a lot of.
Wait. I didn't say that. I just said that I lose. I mean, we don't have to go any further than that, do we?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we can end it there.
Okay.
We can end it there. But no, thank you, Mr. McCready. I have a lot to think about, a lot to ponder. What's best for the league, because I always have what's best interest in for all members of the LAG, because that's the kind of commissioner I am.
Band for the church that you should, maybe say some. Oh, there's some. Look at that, America up there. You see it?
What is that?
Some fighter jets just doing some training exercises.
That's awesome.
Just getting ready to exert the will of America on everyone, including corrupt commissioners everywhere. So
hopefully they drop a missile of testosterone to you, you freaking straw-wearing pansy. My goodness. With a man bun. Unreal. Look, you and your nipples, you have a good time there. Congratulations on the baby girl coming soon. Oh, I'm going to have to edit that out. That's too hot. That's too hot for TV. Too hot.
I'll fix it for everyone here. As soon as I can find the switch button, you can just bid everyone to do with this one. Yeah, there you go.
What a perfect way for a send-off. Thank you, Mr. McCready. Good luck this week.
Anytime. Good luck to the Gronk Stars.
Thank you, Mr. McCready. What a great interview that was. Lots of integrity from Man Bun there. Also, thanks for the great audio. Could barely hear you. All right. Real quick, let's get to my predictions. This week, I'm beating McCready. New World O'Creaky beats I'm taking Allen. Allen is the upset. Allen is going to win this week. First Down Syndrome is going to also lose this week to John Dahlgren. I like Dak Street Boys over Modelo Virus. 2020 to be Sons of Shane Falco. And Lamb of Godwin to beat Mick. Okay. Oh, also, before I forget, the Allen Robinson tracker. Let's pull that up. Yes, with 96 points. in 5 games, is now the 8th overall player in all of fantasy football. Did you know he's also the most targeted receiver in all of fantasy football? And it comes with its own theme song.
Allen Robinson, Jason loves you more than you could know. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, bless you, please, Allen Robinson. Austin thinks that you're just okay.
Okay,
Hey, hey, hey.
That was adorable. All right, there you go. See you next week.